In this James the Bike Guy video, we're checking out the 2022 Trek FX1. The FX1 is Trek's entry-level fitness bike, and this happens to be the disc brake version with a lot of notable changes for 2022. So we're gonna go into those changes of the bike, the features and designs, as well as find out exactly what it weighs. So if that kind of thing is interesting to you, I suggest you stick around and let's go ahead and check this bike out. The FX series is a long-standing series within Trek's lineup, and it represents their fitness commuter bikes. So this bike would be considered a hybrid because it's a hybrid of mountain bike style positioning, but then thinner, smoother tires, almost like a road bike, but with a little extra width and capability. And inside of that fitness category, you've got two other models that are pretty notable from Trek. First, you've got the Trek Verve, which is a much more upright and more casual style of hybrid. And then you've got the Dual Sport, which is a more off-road variant of hybrid. And this Trek FX series falls in, it's really designed around 70% of its time to be a street bike. So something you'd be riding on the road or paved surfaces. And then the remaining 30 could be mixed up between things like gravel roads, dirt paths, or even some light fire roads or hiking trails. And that's where this bike's gonna come in and be pretty fun because it's so versatile that somebody could use it for, say, commuting by adding a rack and fenders to the back end of the bike. They could use it for fitness, even, a sprint triathlon if you're getting into that kind of thing. Or where a lot of these come in to be is really just that fun bike that you might go out, have some fun, get your sweat on, or even ride with your kids as well. And the FX1 means that this is the beginning level of the FX series. With FX, the numeral indicator, the 1, explains where it is in the line, and as you go up in numbers, it comes with nicer parts and gets a little bit lighter. The frame is going to be made out of Trek's Gold Alpha aluminum. This aluminum frame has internal cable routing, which is real nice to see on the FX1 for this year. Some sleek and slender tubes as you go through. You've got quick release in the back, a threaded bottom bracket down in the center, some really neat additional features like a spot to be able to put a Duo Trap Bluetooth sensor. That way you can track your speed and distance. And then as we go forward, the aluminum frame has pressed in headset bearings top and bottom with a threadless steer tube, and then it goes down to the steel fork. So the beauty of why you might want steel on a bike like this is it's going to help save some cost, but it's also going to absorb some of the vibrations compared to traditional aluminum fork. And then the front wheel is attached again with a quick release. You can pull those open to take the wheel off pretty easy, but you'll see there's eyelets all along this to be able to run a rack or fenders on the front end of this bike. And that's going to give the frame a lot of additional versatility in the different uses you could use it for. Cockpit componentry is going to be standard fare for the bike, running an alloy stem to a steel riser bar with a 25.4 clamp. So this has a little bit of rise to it, so it's going to put your hands up in a more upright position. You'll also notice on the bar, it has these nice ergonomic style grips. By ergonomic, I mean it's got this flat spot for your palm so that when your palm is resting on there, you can see that your hand will be pretty comfortable. It also has integrated shifters with brake levers on the cockpit. These shifters do have indicators for where the gears are, and you'll notice on the other side a hint to what we'll talk about with the drivetrain. But going back, the Bontrager Sport saddle mounted up here with some nice cushion to it, and then of course a relief through the center, and then it's attached to this aluminum 27.2 seat post. This seat post does have an adjustable angle so you can dial in the angle of your saddle to what feels comfortable, and then it also has a 4mm bolt for the saddle clamp, and that's going to allow you to adjust the height of the saddle, but it's also going to allow you to nicely lock in the position so that it doesn't move around on you, or if you're using it to commute, it's less likely compared to quick release that the saddle might go missing. Drivetrain wise, this is where the new bike for 2022 gets so much nicer than before. The FX1 has always been a pretty nicely spec'd bike, especially for the positioning and the money, But here I'm super excited because the new version has a 2x drivetrain, which means it's got 2 gears up front, and then in back it's going to be running an 8-speed drivetrain. So that means this has 16 gears for this year, and those 16 gears are going to cover virtually the same range as the previous 21 speeds, but with a lot less shifting, which is going to make the bike ride nicer, be a bit quieter, and you're going to be needing to shift a lot less, which is pretty awesome. So in the back, it's operated using this Shimano Altus rear derailleur through an 8-speed cassette. This is a huge upgrade. Previous generations had a freewheel. Without getting too far into it, a cassette is a much more durable and much nicer way to go. And then it goes forward to this alloy crankset with a 2x Shimano Tourney derailleur. You can see looking in there, you've got the big ring and the small ring down below. And I'm just psyched to see that it's got the 2X style shifting on this bike, which is going to make such a big difference in the riding experience. The other place where this is going to be a big deal for 2022 is going to be in the mechanical disc brakes. So first off, the brake is in the center here rather than clamping down onto the rim like you've probably seen on a lot of bikes where the brake is kind of up here on the top of the wheel. But so down at the center, it's going to allow for much more control, less susceptibility to things like weather. And then the braking is well controlled on the handlebar, operating this mechanical caliper. This is Tektron's MDU310 caliper. This is a single-sided mechanical disc brake caliper, but one that actually works pretty well, which is not always the case for some inexpensive mechanical disc, but I'm pretty happy with how this is set up. Final bits to talk about on the bike before we move to the weight is going to be the Bontrager Connection double-walled alloy wheels. These are 32-spoke alloy rim mounted up with Bontrager's H2 comp tire. The H2 comp tire has a nice smooth center down the center, and then you've got a little bit of siping and tread off to the sides, but this is in a 700 by 35 millimeter tire width, which is going to give plenty of width and clearance for potholed roads or even that light off-road without sacrificing the on-road speed or capability too much. The actual weight of the 2022 Trek FX1 disc comes in and weighs 28.48 pounds. Thanks for watching this video on the 2022 Trek FX1. Go ahead and let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. While you're at it, be sure to hit the subscribe button and don't forget to browse the channel. That way you can see more videos like this as well.